and we get to find out what life is like for the new head coach, technical director, grand exalted on-field poobah for FC Naples and USL League One. Matt Poland hanging out with us. Matt, welcome to the morning show.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. First off, congratulations. Let me get Bob Moreno in here and Matt. And I didn't know if it was going to be a party line, but I love the fact that you both are in here this morning so we can get both ideas. So, Matt, welcome. Bob, welcome. Welcome to the morning show, guys.
Thank you, John. Great to see you. Great to have you.
And it's been a while that we've been chasing this down, but we've been seeing what's been going on there at FC Naples and getting ready for USL League One. So, Matt, let me ask you this to start things off. What was it like when Bob came knocking on your door? Hey, we want you to be a part of this, and we want you to help build this from scratch. What were those first conversations like where he's like, Matt, what were those conversations like, and what tempted you to sign up for the gig?
Yeah, so I'm kind of been living here for the last 13 years. My wife and I live just 25 minutes south of the stadium, and since the stadium was created, the conversation we always had was how perfect for a professional team. We need a professional team. We need a professional team. So when FC Naples was announced, I got in contact with Bob and we started having conversations. And as I say, the conversations got longer and the time between them got shorter. And it was a very organic process. Very conversationalist in different things and sharing ideas and philosophies. And when the job offer finally came, I was just ecstatic. I mean, what a privilege and a dream to get to be the first head coach in essentially my backyard and play a big role in creating a culture of the first professional team in this area.
So then let me ask you, Bob, what was it that attracted you to Matt? When you sit there and you look at the checklist of the Matt Poland checklist, it's like, okay, this, and this. What attracted you to Matt and to have you think, and the rest of the hierarchy think that, yes, Matt is our guy to help us in this stage?
Yeah, great question, John. So we received a lot of inbound interest from all over the world.
I'm not surprised.
For this position. Who doesn't want to live in Naples, right? We just got voted the #1 place to live in America, as you probably saw, which is amazing. So we, instead of basically like ramming through all the resumes and everything else, we actually made a list of what's important to us, what's important to the club, what's important to this community. And when we did that, some of the top things were somebody who's very hardworking, somebody who's ready to get down and not only work on the sporting side, but also help on the business side. Somebody who understands the power of community. Somebody understands that this club is not our club, it's the community's team, right? That's very important. We've done that since day one, and that's something we're going to continue doing, right? Because more than a soccer team or a professional soccer team, this is something for the whole community to rally around, get together on Saturday nights and have something in common that they can all support. So when we made that list and we looked at the different candidates, Matt just kept standing out, right? I met Matt very early on in the process, actually back in January. And in all the conversations we had, it just kept reaffirming the fact that Matt was the right guy. And then obviously on top of it being living here in Marco Island for over 15 years, I mean, that's like the cherry on top.
So, Matt, let me ask you this. It's a two-part question. What do you think is going to be the easiest part of your job? And what do you think some of the bigger challenges are when it comes to this startup and USL League One and all? What's the easy part and what's the hard part? I'm going to try to get you to the middle by the time we're done, but what are the two extremes here with you in this new job?
Yeah, so I think the easiest part is, hey, do you want to do preseason and play in Florida versus somewhere up north? I think that's the easiest sell is the location and combined with that is our facilities and our stadium. Again, they were just created a couple years ago, and as you know, in lower league sports, the biggest hurdle is a stadium, and so to have such a professional stadium is obviously just a massive recruiting tool as well. In terms of the biggest challenge, the reality is every player that comes in does not know the identity of the club. Meaning, even if they're come from the most professional club in the world, they have the identity of that club. And so the biggest challenge is bringing 23 players in and having them all recognize what the crest means, what the identity means, education about the community as a whole, what we represent to the community, what our role is in the community as engagement partners and mentoring and all of that. And so everyone can come in from, with perfect intentions, but they each have their view from the previous locker room, right? There's no core that's here. We're building that core and that foundation. So that'll be probably the biggest challenge on the soccer side of it.
All right. So then, Bob, what about on the business side of things? What do you think the easiest thing is coming into this process, and what's the easiest thing been so far? And what do you think some of the larger obstacles are going to be or have been as you guys get ready for your first season on the field?
Business and easy are usually not two words that go hand in hand.
True.
As you know. I think, if I had to pick something out, I think it's just the passion of the team and the willingness to do whatever it takes to succeed, right? Because when you're doing something that you love and something that's affecting many people's lives in a positive way, it's easy to get up every morning and go to work, right? So that's the easy part. And then from a challenge perspective, everything is challenging, right? So I would say it's the amount of moving parts. Right, you've got the ticket sales, you've got the sponsors, you've got the food and beverage, you have the stadium experience, you've got the relationships with the community, the relationships in the government, the relationships with the police department, right? To go on and on and on, the local academies. So it's just managing all those different sort of balls in the air, prioritizing and tackling them one by one.
And make sure that they're not chainsaws that you have to juggle on a daily basis.
Yes, correct.
As long as it's just balls that you're juggling in the air. Matt, I know that you're looking for a specific kind of individual to represent FC Naples, what it stands for, what the crest means, what it means in the community, all these kinds of things. So let me ask it this way. I assume you have either unlimited international minutes on your phone, or you've got one heck of a WhatsApp group that's going on when it comes to bringing in players to recruit. But what kind of individual are you specifically looking for to represent FC Naples the right way on and off the field? What should an expectation be for a player / their representative or representatives when they dial you up and go, yeah, we'd like to be a part of this? What kind of expectations do you have when it comes to those individuals that you're like, yep, okay, you need to be a part of this. You need to be a part of this build. I want you to be a part of this on the field and off.
Yeah, I will say the phone has been buzzing a lot. As a truthful statement. So looking at player profiles in different areas in that regard, there's a few things that stand out that we've decided to prioritize. The first is, obviously you have to be a good player and all of that. Sure, you have to be able to handle the standard. But we want good people. We truly want this to be a team that impacts the community in a positive way. If we win games and no one comes to the stadium and young players don't have mentors to look up to, and in my opinion, there's a lot of failure by us. So we really want to find people that are good role models for the community. Again, this is the first professional team in our area, and so we have certain expectations we have of how these players need to interact with the community. The other thing is we don't want people to see this as just a final destination. We want young players that are hungry, that want to learn, that want to grow, and want to continue the pathway of professional soccer to dream even bigger than just FC Naples. And so in regards to that, we're looking for local talent. What better thing than to be able to sign players from your own backyard? So we definitely want to give every local player an opportunity to showcase for us. But I've coached over in Europe. The ownership group has a lot of connections in South America. So as you said, we're looking international. We're looking at college ranks. We're looking at anywhere soccer's played. We're looking at players from those areas. In terms of style, we want to be exciting, right? We're at the end of the day, we're in the entertainment business, and so we want to play on the front foot. We want the game to open up at times, have some great counterattacking, drama-filled moments, and we want to always make sure that we're taking the game to the opponent and not just parking the bus and trying to win 1-0 for every match.
So, Bob, why USL League One? What set them apart? Because in today's alphabet soup of leagues and financial investments and all of the stuff that we're saturated with, it could have been any league in any division and a part of the pyramid. What set USL League One apart for you and for everyone that is investing in this idea that is FC Naples?
We love the fact that League One is focused on the smaller markets, right? Those markets that don't have maybe professional teams or maybe don't have a lot of professional teams. So that was really good for us. We love the USL pathway, right? The fact that there's so many members of academies around the country as part of the USL, and part of what we're doing is obviously supporting the youth. We also really like the way that the USL sort of is organized and the way that the player transfers work and the potential of developing players, and like Matt said, and moving them on to bigger and better things.
I mean, Matt, all you have to do really is look at the recent example of a player like Nick Okoto up at South Georgia Tormenta.
Exactly.
Who has moved on to Burton Albion. And so now you have folks in Statesboro, Georgia, who are now following the Brewers in the English pyramid. When you look at all of the material here for USL League One, for those that don't know the footprint, for those that don't know what soccer means there in that part of the world, how would you break down how it's a part of the fabric of everything that goes on there in Naples and surrounding areas?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think when you're bringing soccer into a new community, a professional soccer into a new community, there's just a lot of education in a lot of different ways, right? From the creation of a supporters group, and maybe some people are new to what does that mean to be in a supporters group, to what it looks like coming to a game day experience, to what the professional team can offer to the local academies and all different areas. It's a lot of education. And I think the most enjoyable part of the process is building it in the way that we would like to see it best help the community, right? We have a blank canvas, just like on the player side. We have this blank canvas of how we can build it, and we can look at previous clubs and how they've done things and take away some of the positives, maybe learn from some of the mistakes to make this club the best possible team in this area.
So when it comes to Bob, when it comes to the new season coming up and your first season in USL League One, I know a lot of folks will sit there and say, well, yeah, it's over there. It's down the road. We'll get there and everything. You're looking at a date. But I know that those of you in the administration there at FC Naples, you're sitting there going, well, yeah, that might be true, but it's really not. It literally is just around the corner.
Correct.
When it comes to the to-do list, and this is a question that I like to ask of front office folks and owners and GMs and things, and I'll ask Matt this same question from the player perspective and the GM perspective after you give me the administrative side of things. I know that you always have a to-do list. And I mean, it could be on a legal pad in your office, tucked in a drawer someplace. Could be on a document that you have on your phone that you sit there and you pull out your stylus and you go, oh, I've got an idea. And you write it down. You put the stylus back in your phone and the document goes back and it stays there. It could be on one of those big dry erase boards that's like, the big white dry erase board in an office that's like 8 feet wide and 4 feet tall. It's got a lot of lines in and around it and everything. Where is this to-do list for you on the administrative side at FC Naples? And what do you think the next thing that you can cross off of that list is, knowing that you're starting sooner rather than later?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you that March is right around the corner, right? It's definitely not far away. The fall just tends to go by really quickly, right? Kids go back to school. There's a lot of holidays, so yeah, the fall goes by very quickly. How about all of the above, right? The eraser board, the notepad, the reminders app on my iPhone, right? They're everywhere, the to-do lists. But I think as a leader, and something I've learned from mentors in my career, is making sure you keep the top three, four, five priorities really top of mind, right? Because you can really get boiled down in the minutia if you're not careful, and then lose track and lose sight of what really are the key things, right? And for us, right, if we're taking away the sporting side, because
Yeah.
that's obviously going to be handled by Matt, um, it's selling out the stadium, it's getting the sponsors, and it's creating a magnificent game day experience for the community. Right? Those are the three things we need to do, and everything we do as a front office and as a team needs to support one of those three things.
Matt, where is your to-do list?
Running through my mind all day on my computer, on my phone, in my dreams. I don't know, you name it. Yeah, no, it's in terms of the sporting side, it's some of it's a little bit different, right? Players right now, a lot of players that we're looking at are currently under contract. Their clubs may still not have decided if their option's being picked up or not. And some of them are still in college and waiting to see, will the MLS team come calling, or will they be passed out off of that? And, so it's doing a lot, but kind of having to understand there's a level of patience to it, right? You can't, good or bad, you can't go out and sign your whole roster today. And so it's, about building those relationships with agents, having communications about potential players, kind of that we're interested in them. Are they interested in us? And slowly just building those relationships so that when it gets into that fall, winter time, we are able to execute on contracts and build it. But yeah, it's definitely a fun challenge because truly right now any player is open and available. And again, as I said, there's a lot of players that I think just location wise want to come down and play, and I think that's a massive benefit in that process.
Matt Paul and Bob Moreno dropping by, hanging out with us to give the lowdown on FC Naples as they get ready for their first season in USL League One. Bob, when you've got a question about anything that comes with ownership and administration and trying to get something off from the ground up, who do you have on your speed dial to answer a question that will pick up? And it's like, man, 3:00 in the morning, I've got a question. I know I can call so-and-so and they'll pick up the phone. Who do you have on your speed dial to help you out in a situation like this, for where you have a blank slate, but you still have a pathway?
Yeah, and I think the first person is my wife, right? I think it starts at home.
Wise choice, sir.
Right? So that's I think when things are good at home and calm at home, it reflects on the business. So I think that's number one. I'm extremely lucky to have an amazing wife and family. The other two people that sort of come to mind are two of our advisors. The first one is a gentleman called Nick Simaka, who's on our advisory board. He owns a minor league baseball team in Joliet, Illinois. He's on the board of a couple of soccer teams in Europe, one in England, one in Germany. So he's a really good resource. He's an ex-McKinsey partner, right? So it's just a fantastic resource. And then a very close friend of mine, Alberto Perlman, who's the CEO and co-founder of Zumba Fitness, the largest fitness company in the world, right? So as you might know, John, I was there for 16 years of my life as the chief financial officer there. And a partner at the company. So Alberto is just an incredibly creative person, incredibly good-hearted, and really he's credited, along with obviously the whole team at Zumba, but he's leading the team with creating the world's largest community and the world's largest fitness company, with over 15 million people taking a Zumba class every week, right? So So those are just two plus my wife of the resources I have. And I also have amazing business partners, right? My business partners, Daniel, Mark, and Sasha, are just fantastic individuals, all with different skill sets. Yeah, we at our company we have open communication, transparency, and honesty, right? Those are values that we hold dearly.
All right, so Matt, who's on your speed dial?
So the top three, luckily, my former boss is Peter Will, who is known for starting clubs. I think he started 10 different clubs. So his experience I've definitely leaned on, just because he's done it at all different levels across the Midwest, of from amateur all the way to the MLS. And inside of that, the head coach, the first head coach at Chicago House, where I previously was, is CJ Brown. And his experience starting a club, and obviously his 25 years of experience in the MLS as a player and coach is something I've leaned on. And the other big resource I've used is a guy named Nate Miller. He was the first coach at Lansing, and he's now an assistant coach at RSL in the MLS. And to have numbers like that on speed dial that have been through it and have the understanding and perspective of the challenges, and again, some of the positives and negative decisions in the past that have led to success and failures is very, very beneficial.
So, Bob, when you mentioned USL League One, one of the first tenets I think that attracts folks to USL League One is the regional approach that the league has when it comes to its growth. And it started out with that southeastern hub, and it has gradually expanded to where you're starting to get like a western frontier now. You're going to have Antelope Valley coming in, Santa Barbara coming in to join Central Valley and Spokane, but you've got the southeastern footprint that is there. It's a part of USL League One. So you're jumping into this, and you've got some instant rivals that are attached to this thing now too.
Yeah, exactly. We obviously haven't started playing, so I can't tell you who exactly our arch rival is. But yes, I mean the fact that we have so many teams so close, right?
D, all of the above.
All of the above, right?
Y'all on, man.
We like shooting for the top, and there's obviously some amazing teams, right? Forward Madison, Omaha. We love the Richmond team and what they're doing at Richmond over there. So yeah, a lot of great examples.
All right, Matt, when it comes to the regionality of things, you're getting the chance to see how a South Georgia Tormenta is going about things in Statesboro. It's Greenville, it's Chattanooga, it's Charlotte, and now you get to add the Florida part to all of this. If I was to call you up and sit there and say, hey, I want to be a part of this, other than all of the things that we've been talking about this morning, is there something that what's the ace up the sleeve when it comes to a conversation about someone who might be just kind of kicking the tires, not sure about it? How would you turn my opinion to sit there and make FC Naples my number one priority if I was interested in doing a part of something in USL League One? What's the ace up the sleeve other than the weather and the superficial things? What's the ace up your sleeve in conversation?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends again on where the player's at, right? If they're a young player, I'll speak more towards the potential opportunities, connections we have to continue to move that player higher. If it's an older player, maybe it's more of being a part of history and laying the groundwork for hopefully years and years and years and years to come of what this identity can be. I think the ability to come in at the ground floor is such a unique experience. And what's fascinating outside of massive clubs that can just overhaul everything with hundreds of millions of dollars, outside of that, club reputations of what they are consistently, even when the players leave, the coaches leave, everything turns over, that history and identity tends to stay the same for a reason. And so I think all the more important and yet special to have the opportunity as a player to build what that history can be.
Gentlemen, it has been fun. Bob Moreno, Matt Poland, who are part of the brain trust building FC Naples, fcnaples.com and FC Naples on all of the social medias to see how things are being built. It's great to catch up with you guys. I'm glad that I was finally able to grab this comet by the tail that is known as FC Naples and have you guys locked in place for 25 minutes so we could find out what's going on with you guys. I can't thank you guys enough for dropping by. Obviously, if it's okay, we like to keep checking in occasionally as to see what's going on and see how things continue to grow. I can't thank you guys enough for dropping by here on the morning show. Continued success. May there be blue skies. And may the afternoon thunder showers only be for 20 minutes or so, and then the humidity goes and wanders away. I can't thank you guys enough for dropping by this morning. Bob, Matt, thanks again.
Love that. Thank you, John.
Thank you. I thought of one last thing real quick before I go.
Matt.
Maybe the plan should be wait to call any player until December and then FaceTime them from the beach to try to sell them on coming here, right?
There you go. Yes. Beach FaceTimes. Absolutely true. So we'll hang. So next time, Matt, do us a favor. Next time, or when we talk in like the winter, do that. Can you stand on the beach and do our interview, or can both of you stand on the beach and do the interview next time we catch up, or when we catch up in the winter? Can we do that? Would that work?
Perfect.
Love that.
Guys, once again, looking forward to it. Thanks again. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Bob Moreno and Matt Poland, who are the brain trust at part of the brain trust at FC Naples. Matt is the head coach and technical director, and Bob is the CEO down there. And I can't wait to when we catch up with them in the winter before their first season, like when they're in training camp and stuff. I want to have that visual of the water behind them as they do the interview. Obviously, we'd have to invest in some windscreens for them, or at least they turn their computers or their devices a certain way, so everything would be locked in place. But no, thanks to I've been trying to get that interview for a while. You can't get the gear, FC Naples gear. I mean, as soon as Nico Cantor started wearing it on Morning Footy, and they had the big introduction on Golasso Network about what he's a part of down there with FC Naples, you can't get the gear. You can't get the gear that you want. So it is a tall order to take something from scratch and continue to build it. They're doing that right now, and I can't thank them for both hanging out for as long as they did to answer our questions. But it's really cool to see how the footprint in the Southeast and in the state of Florida. Is Florida technically Southeast, or is it different? How it continues to grow when it comes to the sport of soccer and in USL League One. Because when you look at USL League One now, you look at how things are going to be for them next year. They're getting that Western hub squared away. And so you now have in the Eastern footprint, Charlotte, Chattanooga, Greenville, Knoxville, Lexington, Richmond, if you want to call them the Southeast, Statesboro, and then you've got FC Naples coming in as a part of this. They're adding 6 clubs. They're adding 6 clubs in the future very, very quickly in USL League One. They're adding Antelope Valley, AV Alta, and we need to catch up with them and see how things are. But AV Alta, the Antelope Valley franchise, the Santa Barbara franchise, Central Valley is there. So you've got that triangle of rivals in USL League One. You've got FC Naples coming online. You've got Portland Hearts of Pine. By the way, you want to talk about not being able to get gear? Portland Hearts of Pine is a great look in Portland, Maine. Then you've got Texoma FC, which is right there in the Sherman Ada Ardmore double market in between Oklahoma City and Dallas, right there on the border. Sherman Ada Ardmore right there. And then Westchester Soccer Club in Westchester, New York. Adding 6 clubs, getting Westchester to add to your footprint gives you that first club in the Northeast to help you build up that way.